Welcome to another Kristen and Charlie chat here at the Success Ability channel. Listen, today we are diving into the principle of commit to constant and never-ending improvement. We are going to dive into how that looks in terms of thrivers. Thrivers are committed to non-stop improvement, and we're going to highlight some tools that we each use for our constant and never-ending improvement. And we think you're going to be surprised at a few of them. Let's dive in. All right, so here we go, Charlie. A commitment to constant and never-ending improvement. This one makes me smile because I know both of us have all kinds of unique ways that we are committed to improving. And I'm wondering if it might be a little daunting to people that hear the commitment to constant improvement sounds like a never-ending battle to some people, and maybe people that are watching. That's the challenge for us, Charlie. We're going to flip their mindset and have everybody ignited to want to be constantly improving, not improvement. I'll improve on my English for the next time.
Well, you have plenty of time because constant is kind of never ending. So it starts with commit. And that is an area I needed improvement. So what does commitment mean to me? That means I'm saying yes, but if something better, or I'm tired, or I decide, I might change that commitment to, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to. And not so much with people. If I committed to have a meeting, a phone call, or any of that, I was there. It was that, to me, commitment, where I decided that it was time to improve in an area of my life, and I'm going to start tomorrow. But tomorrow came, and, it was raining. And it was a little chilly or something, and there was cookies in the thing, and you see where I'm going. Yeah. That commitment wasn't as powerful the next day. I believed in it the day before, like I was gung ho. I'm committed, but something happened, and over in a 24-hour time where I lessened the degree of that. Well, I maybe shouldn't have used the word commitment. Should have used, if I get around to it.
If I get around to it.
Let me improve that. And that kind of whirlwind of spinning my wheels is not improvement. It's actually getting worse. And I love this because like you and I mean, in our we always talk about the Monday because that is it's a short 1 hour. But the idea of constant commitment to an improvement of myself, of my spirituality, of my mental state, my beliefs, maybe my physical body, my physical areas, my environment. What is it that I'm feeling the outcomes of my life, the presence of where I move around? Where do I feel a little off, not connected? Where do I feel a little irritated? Where am I not getting the outcome, the results that I feel I should, or that I truly want, but I'm not sure how to improve to get those? That's where this stuff really kicks in.
Well, and I think that's the most important thing to where to begin. As people are listening, you might be thinking, well, I don't know. There's so much that I just need to change the trajectory of where I'm going, or I've got all these things going on I need to change. You just decide. You decide on, maybe it's one thing at a time. Don't take 17 things on at once. What is one thing, one area that you want to improve on? And actually, Charlie, you were the one that brought this up that really opened my eyes when we had the Monday mentor chat recently about this success principle. And that was the improve in small increments. Like, don't think that, like you're saying, gung-ho, wake up the next day and total commitment. And you had mentioned about, like, if it's when I was trying to get into more plant-based food as opposed to processed food and all that. I got very uncommitted very quickly because I wanted to change my entire refrigerator and my whole house all at once. And then it was just too overwhelming. So when I was doing like, okay, today I will change the first things I eat in the morning. And then eventually I will add a little more and a little more and a little more. And it became a heck of a lot easier to gain momentum in that change. But I know for me and probably for a lot of people listening to us, the decision on one thing that you want to improve on is sometimes the toughest thing. And then not taking it all on at once, just small increments. You think?
Yes, because I feel better. I'm feeling the outcome that I knew and that I could achieve, or something shifted and I want more. It's like, well, I love that because I too went back. I read a book, silly me. That's it. I'm in the cupboard ripping everything out of it. This is killing us. How did I not know this all my life? Those damn marketers really did a good job teaching me that double stuffed peanut butter Oreos are yummy. I haven't had one of those since 2008. Maybe 2007. So I hear you. It's like everything's got to. It's like I all my life I wanted to play the guitar, and I couldn't, because when I strapped it on or sat with it and tried, I wasn't Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I wasn't Jerry Garcia, and I wasn't Eric Clapton. So I thought that when they came out of the birthing canal, they must have had a gift. Now, I'm sure they are gifted more so in the musical side, but I couldn't play like them in 15 minutes. What's wrong with me? Let's see. Take responsibility wasn't happening. The inner critic kicked right up. You're no good at guitar. Why bother? Don't even try. So I believed that story until I was 40. And I was in a conference and somebody was up on stage playing the guitar saying, I once didn't know how to play this. I picked it up. And over 30 days, I did 15 minutes a day. And by the end of 30 days, I knew 7 notes. So how to move around on 7 different notes on the guitar. And this, many years later, I now am a performer, and I'm like, you mean you can do it that way? You didn't just wake up great on the guitar? Wow. And so at 40, I started. And I learned how to strum a G. And constant never-ending commit to constant never-ending. The guitar is something that it's never-ending. I mean, I'll never master it fully. And it's absolutely mind-blowing how complex it can get. But it's also how easy, how simple, a day at a time, 15 minutes, maybe the next day, because momentum started. All of a sudden, I knew 3 notes. I knew a song that had 3 notes. I played with it. I'm like, woohoo! What kicked in? Momentum. Now I'm feeling more confident. I'm feeling better about myself. I'm coming out and playing around my wife and kids. They're going, wow, Dad, you're getting better. I am? Can you say that again? So that's how it is. So I stuck with it. I'm now 55. I was going to say, yeah, I started playing at 40 a year ago. But I figured you would pull my covers and say, nice try. So I've been playing. And I got better, and I put more time into it, and I started playing with other people. It's like I never in my wildest dreams knew that over time, incremental advancement, constant never ending, as means I pick it up and I challenge myself to learn, to do more, and to be more. And that's possible for any area of our life.
It's interesting you're talking about the guitar story, because I'm sitting here thinking about being in a home with a musician in the family. My Michael is quite the talented musician. And I remember, I mean, he started when he was in first grade. I remember the piano teacher came to the house and said, now that was at a point when Michael could by ear identify what pieces of classical music were Mozart and all the different composers, and he was able, ever since he could talk, he could identify all that. And the piano teacher that came said, Michael, what song would you like to learn? And I'm waiting for which Mozart piece he was going to say, and he goes, I would like to learn the theme to SpongeBob. And I said, wait a minute. But listening to Michael for, I guess he moved out for college when he was, 18 or 19. All those years listening to him grow as a musician, I would listen to him on the grand piano or on his keyboards with his band, work out new songs and learning how to do new things with, I didn't even think he could possibly improve on the piano. He was so good. That's a mom's bias, right? But one of the things that he did was when he would learn a new song, he would start playing it, and if he messed up, he would stop and go back to the beginning and start all over again and go further and then get stuck and go back to the beginning. And I asked him about that one time, and he said that's how he masters the flow of it. That was his constant, never-ending improvement, that he had a system to learn all those songs. Now, I will say, when you're the mom that is trying to rock out in her office to the Journey song he's learning, and he keeps stopping and going back to the beginning, it was driving me crazy. But he had a system for learning. I mean, he was in a couple of bands and was all over our county, and then he moved to Nashville for a year, and that was how he was. And he's to this day is improving on music and sound quality and all that. And he looks at it as completely energizing and motivating, and it's his spot of genius.
Yes, and we would be, or I should say, you would be in a much different place these days if he said, Mommy, I want to learn the theme song to Barney. Thank God he didn't say that one. SpongeBob, that's fine. I don't know why I had an issue with Barney. He was too happy.
Well, it was a big goofy dinosaur hopping around too.
I used to say to my daughters, Daddy wants to tackle him.
Yeah, I'm sure SpongeBob was more your thing. He was more of a smart ass.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't think of his name. Patrick.
Oh, yeah.
I love Patrick. So, talk about off course.
Yeah, we're a little bit off course on that one.
So, Michael's blind, okay? And in the world of blindness, a lot of people say, I can't read sheet music. Who cares?
Yeah.
What is it? What obstacles do you put in your life because of your vision impairment? What do you do? Recognize that, because that is not why you aren't improving in life. That is the story you believe that's keeping you stuck, miserable, and not living the life that you were put on this earth to live. Michael's going for it. And he makes mistakes, and I know it drives my kids nuts. Well, they're moving out, but I would do scale after scale. Dad, can you play a song? And I'm like, no, I need to learn this, because the theory, the foundation is more important to me than just knowing how to play a song. Because I want to be able to understand the guitar. I want to understand life. I want to understand what makes me tick, what makes me feel connected, and what, and to get there, I committed to never-ending improvement. My health area of my life, I needed to change a lot of things but I didn't know. So first of all, I didn't have the hammer out. I'm so dumb and all that, because I was doing what I thought was right. We had those variety packs from Costco with all the little bags of Doritos and Lay's. Oh, yummy. And all of that, we would put them in our kids' lunches. Oh, my God.
I know.
And, but we didn't know. We thought that we were doing the right thing because we were having meat, a vegetable, and a potato. But in between then, so I started to learn that inflammation in the body, some extra weight, not sleeping as well, eating at night. So I learned, he said, how am I going to change it all? Because I'm the guy, once I learn something, like I have to change it immediately. And I don't have to. I think that I'm such a, I'm a little, I don't know the word, little excitable. I go for things. I believe in something and I am all on it. And I had to step back. And like you were saying, I had to take a look at, okay, let's first take out some things and replace it with. Let's do that. And I just, over time, a process and momentum started. We all started feeling better, talking about our successes. And gosh, it's so much cooler to have like carrots with guacamole instead of potato chips, And so we learned a new way to improve our health. And then I wanted to improve my physical body, so I stepped into different workouts. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, we talk about the mental part of life constantly because, that's the crux of all our problems. It's never a physical thing. It's never outside of us. It's our belief on why it should be different and it shouldn't be that way and you should be this way. The shoulds are terrible. And they keep us stuck from this. It's not scary. Commit to becoming a better version of you. Constantly watch for when you're off course, like we caught ourselves. And then don't say, forget it, I give up, I'm never gonna. Say, I'm off course. I recognize that. What can I do about it? Turn 1 degree back on course. And then celebrate that. I feel good again. And then when you're off course, recognize it. Because this is that self-realization to say, I want to improve. I want to be a thriver in life. And the nice thing about our community and what we do is that you don't have to go at it alone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing that has been, at least for me, which is why I was so happy to start this community with you, is that is how I've been able to make the progress that I make in all areas of my life. I find people that are 1 or 2 steps ahead of me or 10 steps ahead of me on the road that I'm traveling on and ask them for help and become part of the tribe and the community. And that's what's so great at the academy. And when we were in the Monday chat talking about this principle, the thing that I happen to think is the greatest tool for blind and low vision kids that gives them the edge overall, that so many people consider to be a negative thing in raising and educating blind and visually impaired children, is the IEP, the Individualized Education Plan. And Charlie, as you're saying all these things about how to commit to constant, never-ending improvement, the Individualized Education Plan is exactly the blueprint that is what we're talking about with constant improvement. Because when you think about it, and for those of you that don't know exactly what that is, it is a document that the entire team of teachers and the parents, and if you're in my home, the child, sit together and decide, like we said earlier, you have to decide on what you're going to improve on. So we take a look at where is the child and where do they need to go, and let's create the steps to get there. I will say, let's point out that one of the elements of this success principle is you cannot skip steps. Just like Charlie, you were saying about the scales with music. When you are educating a blind or low vision child, you cannot skip over some of the letters of the alphabet in Braille. If they're Braille readers, you can't skip over some of the assistive technology they're going to need. So there is a plan. That's what this IEP does for kids, is it makes the plan and the goals and where to focus. And then the best part is, as each goal is achieved, you create the next one. And it is the epitome of constant and never-ending improvement. And then what happens with that is it creates the word that we're always talking about here, momentum for success. And imagine, my boys sat in on their IEP meetings. And we would have like 6 or 7 meetings a year for each of them. And they would listen to strengths and weaknesses. setting goals. Some of them seemed a little stretched, that they were maybe, were we going to be able to achieve them or not? But we also got the tools, access to all the tools that they needed to achieve them, put the steps and the plan in place. And then can you imagine, you're sitting there 6-7 times a year checking in and watching all the goals that you get to check off, that you improved on, mastered, and then you go to the next one and the next one. And I really think that that's how my boys developed a mindset of, they achieve a lot, but they put a plan in place. They are constantly improving. Once they achieve, they do, Charlie, you mentioned this, and I think it's one of the most important things that we should harp on always, is to celebrate the achievement. I think a lot of times we forget, we just move on to the next thing. But they are big on celebrating achievements and then going the next level and the next level. Now, Mitchell doesn't necessarily not skip, he doesn't really skip steps. He likes to bring in others to maybe do some of the steps alongside him. And whereas Michael likes to be very independent, but they have a very different approach to how they do it. However, I really believe it's that IEP process that helped them get in a success mindset, frame of mind, to constantly improve, achieve, improve, and achieve.
Yeah, that is a powerful. And as you were talking, my dog decided to, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm on video. And then I'm like, get over here. And it's like, that's life. We're not here to do this perfectly. And I cannot teach my dog that principle, to be a good, perfect dog when I'm shooting video. And we're working on a principle called commit to constant, never-ending improvement. And you don't need to growl out the window. So, he's just doing what he does. So one of the things it's improvement. So if I'm going, as we talked with our great mentor in our program, Eric, he talked about, he does a ton of world traveling. And as he passes through from getting ready to through the airports, through the traveling, back home, unpacked, back into the game of life, he has a system, and he looks at it closely to improve. So his experience is not filled with, I can't see this, blah, 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 blah. It's to get the most out of him, be the best he can be on that journey. And it's so cool. And I know, because I've traveled a ton, and I know how to, instead of saying, I always do this wrong, igniting that inner critic, I say, how can I do this better? What can I improve? What can I change in this environment? You know what I mean? And then it becomes seamless. No friction. I enjoy it again. So improvement is really important in this stuff, because we're doing stuff. We're living. We're doing it already. What am I doing? Decent, but I can improve on without beating myself up. Because there was many things that I could improve on. You talked about if we just cut out a certain amount of TV, and I'm not a TV watcher. It's not because of my legal blindness. It's because I'm doing other things. Because I can get close, real close to the TV, and I can watch it if I choose to. But if I cut out that time, I just gave myself more time to do some self-reflection, to review my day, to go hang out with my wife, to do something with my children, to work on writing a book, so something else in life that I want to achieve. And so there's bad things, and I don't like that good and bad thing. There's things that we're doing, sometimes unconsciously, it's a habit, but that we maybe could slowly chunk it, take a little bit of it away. I wanted to sleep more, but I like staying up till midnight. And then I get up at 6 or 5:30, and then I'm chugging iced coffee in the afternoon. And it's like, okay, it works, but it's not really working, because I happen to read a book, and I'm like, why do I listen to these dang books? They keep telling me I got to improve. And And so I said, okay, I need to go to bed at 10. 2 hours? Oh my gosh. So I just took a little bit each week, 15 minutes. Then next thing you know, I'm going to bed earlier. I'm getting up. I'm more refreshed during the day. I feel momentum. I feel good about myself. Did I do it the first? Because if I said to myself, self, you're going to start this new program tomorrow. No, I'm going to start it tonight, and then tonight gets closer. Oh, but I wanted to get this and that. And I just want to relax. Okay, I'll start it tomorrow. But I'll get up early in the morning, and I don't do either. I don't feel good about myself. It's that commitment to self. It's that story we tell ourselves, and it's like, hold on, I'm not going to do this perfectly. I'm not going to do it the way my mind is going to tell me. I'm going to do it the way is more manageable, attainable. And I'm going to bring it down to X amount of minutes a day. And then the next week, if I want to add 10 more, I will. And that works. It works really well, actually, for someone like me.
You know, I'm remembering back to about 5 or 6 years ago when my divorce nightmare started, and I was looking at bankruptcy, whether I should file for bankruptcy because it got that bad. And I was going through that whole pity party, and then, oh my God, I can't believe that I let my life get to this, and how am I ever going to get out of it? And when I made the commitment to just improve my situation, little by little, I started looking at what were the things that I could control and do differently that would help the bank account and my sanity, because my hair was falling out, and there was a therapist involved in this that helped me tremendously too. But there were a couple of things that I did that really made an impact, and it aligns with everything we're talking today. And I realized before we came on the air, Charlie, that you and I have a similar thing in how we do our improvements. Instead of shelf improvement, we do self-improvement. One of the things that I realized I had to do was fill my head with positive information that would help me change my life. So I got very into Max Lucado. I was reading him. I was in a book study, and I was listening to how to build businesses bigger and better, especially using online tools. I had all this information I needed to consume. I also had an acre of ground that I could not pay anybody to cut. Right? So I was like, okay, how can I combine the two to make my bank account look a little better? I stopped paying anybody to cut the lawn, and I would be out there, and I couldn't have a gym membership anymore. So I had a little push mower that had a little bit of a motor to it that would pull you a little bit. So I got my workout in by mowing that acre myself. I did not have to pay anybody anymore, so I saved all that money. And I would put on my giant noise-canceling headphones and listen to podcasts and books and sermons and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it got so addicting and motivating that I'm now at a house where I have 1.25 acres, and my dad thinks I'm nuts. I want to mow all this myself too. I'm like, are you kidding? I have the time of my life out there getting inspired, listening to all of the podcasts and books.
If I'm weed whacking, snow blowing, driving my tractor around, I don't do the push mower thing. My girls did all the trimming, but now they're moving. One's in college and one moved out. It's like, now who's going to trim around the gardens? I'm like, Mitchell, who can I delegate that to? But anyway, and walking. I do a lot of walking. I don't do anything like that when I'm on a bicycle, but walking I do. And we'll have that bicycle talk on one of these videos. But how do you ride a bike? Well, you pedal and you balance. I know why they're asking, but yeah. I'm a wise you-know-what. So why not put on these AirPods? What I call them before? Earbuddies?
Earbuddies.
And put on your earbuddies and then squeeze that thing, and it will go into quiet mode. It goes into noise cancellation. Mm-hmm. Put on a good book, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna cut the lawn twice. It's a great book. It's not a chore. It's not like, oh, I have to do this. It's like I have the opportunity. I'm blessed that I have equipment and a property and it looks beautiful and I'm done. I have good information coming in.
Mm.
Same with me. I needed to constantly, and now I don't. I do it all the time. But before it was, oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna listen to this. Now it's, I can't do that. It's like I'm walking and a neighbor comes and stops next to me, like, oh. So, Kristen, I think it all boils down to throughout our day and our lives, but let's chunk it down. When can we, how can we interject, put some more positive books and mentors and things into our life, as you and I were saying, whether it's cutting the grass, going on a walk, taking taking a half an hour break and listening to some type of positive book. Those are all things that I do now that help keep me focused on moving the commitment, the never ending improvement and forward. Because I'll tell you that I still have the committee that's saying, no, take the easier, softer way. and that's not the true outcome and the results I want in life. But yeah, so this has been really engaging, and I really appreciate how you and I dive in and share our experience, but also our struggles. So, those of you watching this, you're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. An incredible Kristen and Charlie chat, as we are constantly and never ending improvement. That's our commitment to ourselves, to Thriving Blind Academy, and to this Success Ability channel. So if you like what you're seeing, make sure you hit the subscribe, and then you will get notified every time we put a new video up. And if there is someone in your life that you know that is struggling or could just use a little use some positivity and improvement, share this video with them. And if you are raising a blind or low vision child, or are blind, low vision yourself, whether you're new to the journey or you've been here for years, join the community over at thrivingblindacademy.org. We would love to have you in our Monday chats and a part of the good stuff we have going on there. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.